It is time once again for the weekly closes on our favorite Bitcoin miners. But before we get going, smash that like button, subscribe if you've been with us a while and haven't done so yet. Check out the Trade Cave store, link in the description, as well as the channel bio. We've got some great products on here, including a brand new hoodie for you to review. And we also have the sticker shop available now. That one's going to be on Redbubble. That link is also in the description. Check those out. Now let's get going. So the weekly close on the Bitcoin, I guess. All right. I don't know why I'm saying it like that. But anyways, the week isn't quite closed for Bitcoin yet. That's actually going to happen tomorrow, but we can look at the weekly anyways and get a bit of a view here what's going on. One thing I do like is that we've got these nice long wicks on the bottom of Bitcoin on the weekly. That's great, especially after we came up here. So a lot of drawings are about to come on. We came up and we're looking at a bit of a leg down, and then we could bounce up from there. The other thing that's really, really encouraging about the Bitcoin chart right now is that we've made a higher high for the first time since March. So since March, right? These white dotted lines are the highs. So let me get rid of this indicator. There we go. Okay. We had March. The March high was 73.90, 981. The May high was 72.30. The July high was just right at 70,000. The August high was down at 65,146. And this high here in September was 66,400. That is the first higher high we've had since March. Now we need a higher low. But we did get a higher low actually in September. Our higher low in September was 52,000 compared to August, which came all the way down to 49,000. Now, that doesn't mean we're done with the 50s yet. This is where the bad news comes in. We could likely revisit the not the bottom of this. That's really low. But we could revisit, I do need my drawings. This line here, right? We could get stuck to the line of this descending channel right here. Let me get rid of some of these while I'm talking. So if you look down at the momentum indicator, you'll see that those little ones there down here, the fast ones are all bunching up here at the top, while the orange, the slow moving one, is still kind of pointing down. That's not particularly good for a big up move, right? We want those fast moving ones at the bottom to happen. That's just the one little storm cloud on the horizon I'm seeing right now is that all the momentum oscillators that I have here for the stochastic oscillators are all kind of hanging out near the top of the range here. So that's not great. But again, it's a very small thing in consideration to all the other things that are being played out on Bitcoin right now. So that's really just one small thing that could be an undoing moment, but probably isn't. So it's just something to be aware of and pay attention to. All right, let's move on to Cleansburg. So Cleansburg is actually looking pretty good down here. I like this weekly close on Cleansburg. We didn't get over the 5-week moving average yet, no, but we do have these two tiny little doji candles. Look at them, they look so cute. And they've got nice long wicks on the bottom. That's great. We got the B extender here, getting smaller and smaller. You can see right here, it's getting smaller and smaller. That is great. That is great. We see the fast moving momentum starting to peak up. That's good. This yellow one and this purple one start getting back up over sold conditions, and we could see this thing move up. And what I really want to see is this purple one get up above the orange one, and that's when you know we're cooking. So right now we have a couple of things in our way, and once the momentum shifts, we should get past those things pretty easily. So we got the 200-day simple moving average up there at 1083. We do need to conquer that. We absolutely need to conquer that. We have the 21 EMA at 1223. Now, the 21 and the 200 are quickly converging on each other right now, and we may find a situation where we come up from where we are and we get stuck between those two for a little bit before we eventually break out back up to like $18, $19 somewhere near the end of the year. Now, here's where it gets less encouraging. So let me turn, no, I'll leave those on. We turn off, no, I'll leave those on too. All right, there's a lot of lines now. Anyways, here's where it gets a little less encouraging. So the top of the ATR band here is up at 1886, along with this huge bunching of candles between 15 and 18. We might get stuck in that range again around Christmas, maybe even next month. That's going to be a bummer. Now, unless we get past this thing like with ease, like one of these big boys right here back from February, we get some candles like that take us all the way up. Now, let's see what happens if we were to get those two candles right now. Let's just take those, put them right where we are here for back end of October. How high would that take us? That would take us basically right back to 21. I don't really know if we're going to get over 21 again this year. That is kind of the area where I'm probably going to start offloading my clean spark for the year. Um, Maybe even around 19 before it hits that 20 and we start getting that round psychological number of 20 where people start offloading. I think I'm probably going to start taking some profits around $20 on my clean spark. Now it's going to be just a 100% move, but that's better than a no percent move. So I will take that if it was what clean spark gives me. All right. That's all I got to say about that right now. But we were up 0.1% this week on CleanSpark. That's great. All right, let's move on to Bit Digital. All right, Bit Digital. All right, how's Bit Digital doing here on the weekly? I actually don't hate this. This is looking like a bull flag. Now, we did have a higher low, but a same high, right, for the weekly. This high met that high at 384. Okay, we are operating off of a higher low though, so the price is compressing, right? It's compressing. It's doing this pennant here that you can see where this trend line, this dotted line is bringing us up as the trend line below and 385 is holding our heads down from above. That is kind of what's going on right now on Bit Digital. It does need to get above 384. It gets above that 384 level and preferably the $4 level just above that. We can do that, and we could see this thing return to the weekly 200 week moving average, which is currently sitting up at $5. That would be a nice little move, especially if you've got a nice average around $2. Okay, not bad. Now we could see ourselves do a little move above that, right? We could see it. Where's the? Is it even on here? Oh yeah, it's way up there. There's no way it's going way up here right now. But we could see it hit this trend line too. Like if we get a nice explosive move from this coil and it comes up, it could come up as high as 6, maybe even let's go to January, like mid-January. There we go. Could come up, yeah, about in the mid sixes. We could see Bit Digital hitting the mid sixes sometime around January potentially, especially with how we've been coiling at a higher price than we were coiling before. And we are seeing right now something that looks a bit like a bull flag right here. These two candles right there the last 2 weeks. That's looking a bit like a bull flag. We also got the momentum oscillators down here all kind of converging around that 50% mark. All we need is that blue one to tick up, that yellow one to follow, and the other two will come with it. And when they do, we'll be seeing something kind of like what happened in here from November 2023, from last November, right? But when did that start? November 27th, it kicked off and it went. Let's see how high it went up. How many percentage points did we get? We got 138% in November. Okay, so let's pretend sometime November, late November, we're on this line right here, this $3 line. And what did I say? 138%. All right, let's see if we get 100. What would happen if we did 138% from there? We would be at, if we did just what we did last year, we would be at $7 on Bit Digital. I'd probably start offloading some around 5, a little more around 550, 6, probably a good amount, and then like whatever's left around 7 for the swing. And then I'd be going into, looking around January, February, maybe for some sell off, right? For some sell off, and then a pop up again next July. That's how I've been playing the Bitcoin miners. I've been going through the cycles, through the seasons, and buying and selling them that way. And that's been pretty profitable so far. Okay, let's move on to Bitfarms. How's Bitfarms looking? Not as good. Not as good. So you can see here we are operating off of higher lows and just coiling. I mean, lower highs and coiling lows, right? Like we got a lower low than last month, right? Here in October, so that's not good. But we stayed above that August low, which is good. But every high has been lower and lower and lower, not even matching. So that's not good. We need to break out of this descending channel on Bitfarms. Bitfarms has been lagging behind largely due to a lot of headwinds, but a lot of those headwinds have been removed. They are no longer part of the equation any longer. So Bitfarms at some point, some of this good news has got to catch up with Bitfarms and it's got to move up. Otherwise, we're going to be seeing some more weakness. Now, the company's been doing great. They've been doing a lot of really good things. They've been expanding. They've been doing all these stuff, but it's not been showing up in their chart, honestly, all hasn't been showing up in their chart really at all. Even their July run was really, really weak, mostly muted by the CEO drama and Riot messing with them. So now that that's in the review mirror, hopefully this November we see that big pump, which let's see what happened last time. Let's see what happened last November. How much was the pump? The pump was 242%, and it was off of this trend line. So let's go to November. And what happens if we get 242% this November? Let's say mid-November, 185, 242. Not even on my scale here. Let me go a little higher. 242 is going to take us to about, again, just like with the digital, about $6 into this cloud, into the Fibonacci band cloud up here, which on the lower red end of it, that's great. That's great. That would be amazing. I would love to see that. The momentum oscillators are in the perfect place for this to take place right here, with them all kind of bunching up near the bottom and ready to explode upward. I mean, they did a similar thing last time from a similar position. They were at about 36-ish or so. This time they're all hanging out around like in the 30s. And they went to the top and like, yeah, we could see these things just easily come to the top. Boom, pop up, drag that orange one with it and go up 200%. And doing that from here would take us into $6 on Bitfarms. So that's great. This current weekly is not looking so good. I don't hate it, but it does look like a bull flag, so it could go a bit higher. That is operating off of a bear flag, so we'll see. It's just been flipping back and forth, bear flag, bull flag on Bitfarms for a little while now. So we're kind of just sitting and waiting. I have my position of Bitfarms. I'm just kind of sitting on it, waiting. I'm not really betting at this time, even though we are in an accumulation zone. And of course, nothing I say is financial advice or a suggestion to buy, sell, or hold any asset whatsoever. Okay, Mara. How's Mara looking? Mara is on the weekly. Let me get rid of this stuff here. It's looking a lot like CleanSpark, honestly. Now we are kind of coiling here. Yeah, it's looking a lot like CleanSpark. It's got almost exactly like CleanSpark, honestly. I would not be surprised to see Mara trading very quickly back up around $22, maybe even all the way up to 27 on this very soon. Let's see what was their move last November? Their move last November was 191%. If we did 191% right now, well, not right now, but in November, we would end up, let's go to like November 18th. Sure, from where we are, 191 would take us really big. Did I say 191? Really? $47? Wow. Market hit $47 if it did just the same move. There's no way, was it? No, it was 191. Oh yeah. Okay, $47. That'd be a pretty wicked move for Mara, better than a lot of the other ones. So yeah, keep an eye on Mara. I'm still watching Mara. I'm still waiting to see when I'm going to do a call on Mara call option here. I think I'll probably look at that next week or the week after, out until January or February, and I'd be looking for it. Honestly, I'd just be looking for it to move back up to 27 to take a huge profit on that. So Mara is looking primed. I want to see it get above the 21-day moving average first at 1764, and then we got the 200 at $20.03. That is also a serious issue there of that being in the way. So Mara's got kind of a fight ahead of it before I'm even really interested. And you've seen here before, like in April and May, it was just coiling, getting smaller before it popped up, and it didn't even pop up that good before dumping off again. And we might see that one more time. Let's take a look at Riot. How's Riot looking? Okay, Riot actually looks not bad. Riot looks like it's trying to break out. Riot met this high here. Yeah, Riot. I actually like how the weekly chart looks on Riot now. This is getting higher and higher here. We might see one little sell off here back down to like 750-ish and then drive up higher into 11 $12. That would be great for Riot. This actually doesn't look too bad. This is kind of getting away from that bear flag looking sort of thing like we saw back here in August, and it might see a little bit of a pullback to create a bit of a tiny little shoulder down here for this little inverted head and shoulders sort of move, right? Just a little one, and then we could see this thing coming back up to 12 $13 pretty quickly on Riot. Riot might be finally getting it together. Look at Riot go. Great. And the 200 week is all the way up here at $16 for Riot. So Riot actually has a pretty significant runway if it decides to run. And I do like where all the momentum is on Riot. Riot is actually probably coming into that sleeping giant sort of territory that I was talking about way back for Riot here. All the momentum is ready. So this fast one will curl back over and come back down. And that will be our tiny little flag. right? That'll be like something like where it comes down to here, right? That'll be the blue one going back to the bottom, and then all of them will come up together. And when they all come up together, we might be seeing this thing back up at $15 real fast. So keep an eye on Riot. Riot might actually do a move here. Let's take a look at Iren. Iren, Iren is, ooh, okay, so the B extender is turning dark red again. That's not good. The weekly, this one was and a golfing candle. That's bad. Iren's not showing such a good thing right here, right now. So I don't like how this here is coming in. Let's see here, something like this. I don't love that little formation right there. Not a fan. We are outside of this one. Okay, I do like that, but I don't like that. Well, it was a higher high and a higher low. So we got a higher high and a higher low. So okay, I'm not too scared. I'm not too scared. I just don't like the way it looks. The way it looks ominous. Let's see. With the momentum oscillators, so this blue one will probably curl over, meaning we're probably going to hit this line here and stick to it for a little while. So we might come back down to about 742-ish and stick to it for a little while. We do need to get in above 875 and hold it. That's a necessity. So we rejected off the 21, basically is what happened. We rejected off the 21 EMA. Where's the 200 EMA? Do we even have it on here? No. Really? No, we don't. Okay, it's not here. Yeah, we rejected off the 21. That's not good. We don't want to see that. We want to get above that thing. We really want to get above that thing, and then we've got room up to like $13, $14, maybe even like $15, $16 again. Our Iren for the sorry, for the Christmas, I'd be looking forward to potentially. What did it do last Christmas? Where was it last Christmas? Where was? Okay, here it is. What was its move for November? So it did November 20th. It was down here at the very bottom, and it ran. It did a 235% run. Cool. All right. So if it does that now, this November, and it does it off of this line, it's coming up to this line, maybe around 875, and I said 242, 240 something. 200, let's just go with even 200. $26. We'd be looking at $26. That was 200, right? It was 229-ish. So around there, 229 would take us off my scale. 229, 227 is good enough. About $28. We could hit $28. That would be pretty cool. I'd be pretty excited about that. I'd be pretty happy. Now I'm not, thinking exactly, oh yeah, that's definitely gonna happen. I would be a little cautious around $16. It might hit like 17, 18, maybe. Could hit that area. I'd be looking for it, honestly, I'd be looking for it to get to around here, between here and here. This is the zone I'm looking at for Christmas, realistically, is this box right here. Somewhere between 17.26 and $20. That's really what I'm looking for Iren, and what I think will probably be the most likely scenario for Iren this Christmas. I don't necessarily think $28 is going to happen, but if it slices right through this, yeah, absolutely. But if not, then no, probably not. For the week, we were down 10%, so that sucks. Yeah, but we are forming a bit of a pennant down here at the bottom of the move, which is not the worst. It's not the worst type of formation. I just don't like last week's candle. It was pretty dramatic, actually, a little too dramatic. Okay, calm down there, Iren. Calm down. Okay. Corz. Corz is lighting up again, and a lot of that is due to their HPC side of their business. This thing is getting them a lot of attention. We are still in a rising wedge, but we are slightly above that rising wedge, and I wouldn't be surprised to see it ride the top of this rising wedge for a little while and then dump off a bit. We still have a couple of weeks to see some weakness. Corz has been overperforming lately. Institutions have been gobbling this thing up. Corz could honestly just break out of this rising wedge and go even higher. I would not be surprised to see that, but I am cautious of Corz. Personally, I'm cautious of Corz right now. It's at the highs. It's forming a rising wedge. It's outside of, well, it's almost outside of the ATR bands here. Um, it is due for a bit of a pullback. I'd like to see it come back and touch the 21. I'd like to see it touch the 21 before continuing on, much like it did in August, where it really needed to, like, it had the same sort of formation going on. Let me draw it out for you. It had the same sort of formation going on right here. We had this here, and we had this here, right? That sort of thing. We peaked out above that rising wedge, and then we came right back into it. Right now, peaking out above that rising wedge, and we might come right back into it, touch the 21 EMA if some sort of thing comes in to scare the market. All it needs is one little thing to scare the market, and we're coming back to the 21 EMA like it did here. It did in 3 weeks, came back, tapped it, and then went on its merry way. That's what I want to see for Corz to really feel confident in this move right now, because it's at the highs. It is at the highs, and it keeps driving higher, which can do for a while. Again, markets can remain irrational longer than you can remain solvent. So I wouldn't short this thing, but I'd be looking for the 21 tap to go long again on this thing. Of course, nothing I say is financial advice or a suggestion to buy, sell, or hold any asset whatsoever. All right, let's go take a look at Wolf. Wolf has been deflating for a little bit right now. We didn't make a lower low, so we did make a higher high here in September, and we are not making a lower low in October, so that's good. As long as we stay above 356, yeah, as long as we stay above like 350, 360, as long as we stay above 360, I'm not too concerned. I like that we got a hammer at the bottom of this move here for Wolf. I would expect, now we broke this trend line here. I don't like that. I don't like that we broke that trend line. That's not good. But as long as we hold the 21 and we don't go lower than 360, I would not be surprised to see this thing start to turn around here in a week or two and carry ourselves back up to about $6. Okay, Wolf does this. It is still in a bullish pattern, having higher highs and higher lows. Right, we made the low in August. We came up. We made a high, which was above, this little bump in the road down here in July, and then we made a higher high than we did in August, and then in September we made a higher high than we did in September, and now in October we're making a higher low than we made in September, and all we need to do is come up to here, boom, and then we're back up to $6, right? Okay, that's what I'm looking at for Wolf. Wolf doesn't look bad at all. Okay, moving on. Let's look at Hut. We haven't looked at Hut in a while. We tend to just do this one on the weeklies or so. This actually doesn't look bad either. Hut looks pretty good. Looks like it's doing that inverted head and shoulders I was talking about for Riot. This is actually looking how I expect the Riot chart to look, right? We came down, we got a little shoulder, we got a nice head. This thing here, all the way back up. That was a big old thing that you could have said was a flag, a bear flag, and then it came down just a bit, making a nice bull flag. And all we got to do is get back above this red line right here, which I'll know the price of in a second. And we are back up at $18, like in no time. And that price is 1290. So we get above that 1290 area there on Hut, and this ends up being an inverted head and shoulders, and we could find ourselves back up at $18 in no time. And this is honestly exactly what I'm expecting to see on the Riot chart. So Hut's kind of doing that ahead of time. Okay, let's move on to Cipher. How's Cipher looking? Cipher is actually looking really, oh, that is looking really good. I like Cipher right now. Cipher is, wow, okay, Cipher, don't be surprised if you see Cipher doing a big old move next week. Wow. I like this a lot, actually. We got this big engulfing candle off the lows off of a pennant, and we are forming another one right here, a flat top one right here. So, right, we're coming up like this, right? And then we got a flat one right there. Boom. We get above this line. We get above, what is this? 425. We get above 425 on Cipher, and we are quickly going to be back up to $5. Like it's going to jump up 75 cents like almost in an instant. It might even overshoot that and come all the way back up to almost $6. Watch Cipher right now. That is a nice formation on Cipher right now. I would not be surprised at all to see that. Maybe not next week, maybe the week after, because the blue oscillator here is in overbought conditions. It might want to come back down and meet the yellow and the purple somewhere around the 50. So it might come back down into the 5, maybe around 389 first in the first couple of days of next week, and then watch for 420. Watch that 425 level. We get above that 425 level, and Cipher is going to launch. Keep your eyes on that bad boy. That thing is primed and ready. Cipher's. This is probably the most bullish chart I have seen today. Here, Cipher is looking good. Yeah, check it out. That looks great. Let's move on to Hive. Hive I'll do on the weekly, even though it's kind of a super depressing one because it just keeps making lower highs, constantly lower highs, constantly lower highs. I would not be in this thing. This thing looks like it is not coming back anytime soon. So it is forming a bit of a pennant. You can see it right here, pennant, boom, right there, right there. And we're kind of getting into the tip of that pennant where it's going to break probably to the upside. Honestly, it's going to break to the upside likely. And honestly, the highest it might go is 392. And then if it conquers 392, I'd be watching 560 for Hive. I don't see it going any higher than 560 unless it gets a significant catalyst of some type. Okay, that's it for Hive. Yeah, we got some nice wicks on bottom. We're hanging out on the 21. It is primed to do an up move potentially up to $4. The momentum oscillators are all near the bottom, so they can, and they are splayed out in the correct way, so it is looking like it will make a move up, but I would not expect that move to go above $4 for Hive, and if it does, I really wouldn't expect it to go past this high here at 450 because it's constantly making lower highs. So I would expect another lower high. And when I'm excited about Hive is when it makes a higher high above this one from July, which would have to be 456. So let's go ahead and put it on there, 456. Let me lock that down. This is going to be the green line here. Let's make this nice and green. And I'm going to make this dash. I'm going to lock it down. I'm not at all interested in Hive until it cracks this line here. Once it does that, then I'll say that Hive might have some potential. Until then, yeah, it's just going to be disappointing. All right. So Luna, all right, the lotto play. The lotto play has actually been doing pretty well for me. I'm up about 30% on my lotto play. I picked it up back here somewhere around like 280, 290. And currently it's up almost $1 on me, so that's pretty great. I did write out this little move up here. That was fun. Not that little move. I got in. Where did I get this thing? I got this. This is the weekly, not the daily. I didn't get it back here. I got it back here around like 280-ish. I picked this thing up and I'm up almost $1. A couple hundred shares on it. Lotto play, so very, very small positioning on this thing. I like that it's compressing right here. That's great. The momentum's all in the right place for this thing to explode. As soon as this one down here turns green, I'm going to be very, very excited about Soluna. It is breaking this descending trend line here. That's great. It will probably slam into this one sometime before the end of the year, around 650, $7 bucks. But I will probably hold this one until Bitcoin's 100K or more, and I'm looking for it to move up to like the 20s or even up into this box here in the 30s or 40s. That is what I'm looking at for So Luna. It is a lotto ticket. I'm going to hold this thing to the promised land or to zero. That is my outlook for this one specifically. And that's all I've got for you today. Please like, comment, subscribe, share this video. Check out the Trade Cave store link in the description as well as the channel bio. Don't forget about the new sticker shop. Check that out as well and have a profitable day.